Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling. I'm BrendenPlayz, and tonight it is time for our Destination X pay-per-view, and we've got a big show in store for you, including the big main event of Samoa Joe and Christian for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Last episode we created, for the first time, our minor show. It is TNA Explosion, of course. It's our B show. We're looking to put a few of our mid-card to lower mid-card guys on there just to start building them up and get them on TV, and we'll do something with them, essentially. You can see the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we've added a new rivalry down there. We've got Jay Lethal and Bobby Roode has been added. So we've added them, and I think we're going to probably have them compete a lot on Explosion, on our minor show. Obviously, Jay Lethal, not the best popularity, 45, but we'd like to get him into that 50 to 60 mark because he's a pretty good wrestler, although we haven't got the scouting done to really see that on our screen there, but he's still very young, only 20 years old. He's still very good, and I think we can really do something with him. Bobby Roode, of course, we know how good Bobby Roode is, and he's one of my personal favorites as well. And we've also got him to bulk up a bit more too, so he'll even have more of that heavyweight, main event look to him that we're looking for. So we'd love to get him in a really strong position. So to do that, we need to have him start feuding and beating some guys. It doesn't necessarily need to be main event or top guys, because we don't want to sacrifice anyone right now. Only guys perhaps like a, for example, a Michael Shane, who's got good popularity, but we don't really have a lot there for him. Someone maybe like Raven, who's a veteran, who is just getting in a lot of trouble at the moment. Might not be worth the price that we're paying for him. We've got a Sabu for a short period of time. We can sacrifice him a little bit. Those types of guys, yes, but we don't want to overdo it, I suppose. We want to make sure that our young guys are still winning and still getting involved. And if they're not winning, at least they're on the card. So, one little piece of news before we get into our pay-per-view. Christy Hemme, she has sustained a drug addiction. They call it an injury, but it's, I guess it's a drug addiction. So, that means that she is going to be on the shelf. So 2 months and 2 weeks, so 10 weeks she's out with that drug addiction. Now we know the plan was to do the Knockouts Championship match there, Gail Kim and Christy Hemme. So we're going to probably have to take out Christy Hemme and just have it Gail Kim versus Molly Holly. Now realistically, that's not a bad thing. I think Molly Holly was the better worker out of the two, but we used Christy Hemme because, we had her first originally, and, before we got Molly Holly, and she had good popularity, but in the end we got Molly Holly, who, just having a quick look at her, has even better popularity than Christy Hemme anyways, so we might get a better match out of that one anyways. Gail Kim and Molly Holly, that should be good, and I'm looking forward to that one. And Molly Holly is actually younger than Gail Kim. I didn't know that, so there you go. So I was going to say Gail Kim, probably more the young and up-and-comer, but she's not really. She's 30, so there you go. But she's our champion right now, I believe. Which she should be, at least. You never know with their titles. They seem to change hands. We'll have a look at it. Obviously, Samoa Joe, the X Division champ. We've got the America's Most Wanted Tag Champs, and Christian as the World Champ. So just remember that before we get into our pay-per-view. So we're having those championships on the line, and we might, of course, have some of our Alliance titles on the line. Gail Kim, of course, the Impact Knockouts champ, and the Impact Global Champion is Shinsuke Nakamura. So we might actually have Nakamura up here on the pay-per-view and have him have a match. Whether that be on the pre-show or on the main show, I don't know. But I'd like to have him on the show just to bump his popularity up and get him some exposure on a big scene, because he actually is, a champion. We probably should be doing something big with him. So we'll see what we can do. So we'll get into our pay-per-view. We'll start preparing for it. We need, of course, pick our pay-per-view providers. So we've got Canada and Mexico covered at this point. Locker room incidents. We've got Cornette and Raven. This can't be good. Surely not. Okay, I was very wrong. Cornette and Raven helped create a fun and relaxed atmosphere backstage after somehow finding a karaoke machine. Can you imagine Jim Cornette and Raven doing a duet? Wow. Yeah, okay. Maybe after some beers, sure. Molly Holly and Sarah Del Rey have been bonding. That's good. And Fallen Angel and Cheerleader Melissa. I've been helping her with some selling tips, so that's good. So normally we get on here and there's Raven with a drinking problem, Sabu might have a problem, someone's always got some issues. 3 positive things, so this might be a good sign for us. So we might be having a good night overall. So I'm going to bring in our Alliance Championships. I'm going to borrow. So we actually have to pay to bring in Nakamura, which is really odd because we have him under contract. You know, it's a little bit different, I think, to use him in that capacity. So we actually have to pay to bring him in to have our own developmental champion on. You know, we could bring in some of these other developmental guys, give them an opportunity. I wouldn't mind maybe doing like a battle royal or something like that. I think since it is a Destination X, perhaps some of our X Division guys should be the focus. So we might actually do something there. Maybe we'll have an X Division, you know, battle royal. Some of our smaller guys, high flying guys can come in and do something there. So we'll get some of our, even if they are not the best popularity or anything like that, we can still utilize them. Do we have to? We don't have to. Okay, cool. We don't actually have to set them a push. We can just use them straight up. So, alright, so let's start booking the show. We'll book a few matches and then we'll get into the results just to show you guys some of the process. That's what I kind of like to do. Normally we kick things off with the X Division match, but we might change things up a little bit. We might do a 3-way tag team match, and we might make it a ladder match. So obviously we got the Steiners have been involved. We got the Dudley boys as well. So, and of course James Storm and Chris Harris, America's Most Wanted. So we can't probably make it too long because the Steiners will burn out, but we'll go 20 minutes. Can we get away with maybe a little bit less? Maybe. I don't want to be capped and get a lower match rating because we're capped too low. But we'll see if we can go with 20 minutes. We might get away with that. Now here's the thing, you know, America's Most Wanted are the tag team champions, but I wouldn't mind having perhaps the Dudley boys and the Steiners for the tag titles. I think that's the feud that I kind of want to do. But if I do that, then there's the Team 3D are so far ahead of the other tag teams on the roster. So if we did that, then you know, it would be a big loss, a big sacrifice for the Dudleys to lose to another one of our tag teams. Where if it's America's Most Wanted, we can have them feud with some of our other tag teams to get the championships involved, and that helps them out a little bit more. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll give James Storm the victory. We'll have Rick Steiner lose. I mean, it is a ladder match, so I don't even know how they're going to be losing. So, I mean, whatever. And we could keep the Dudleys strong. I don't know if we... Will that affect things? It could. But we may do that. So we'll keep the Dudley boys strong. We won't worry too much about Scotty Steiner because he is the veteran and he should be losing. So we'll keep it at that. We'll do a promo. Maybe we'll do a promo afterwards. And the Steiners... we'll go the Dudleys can do a promo on the Steiners. So that's the plan right now. Probably the go forward would be the Steiners and the Dudleys in the next pay-per-view. Then we'll have the America's Most Wanted move along and move away from those two teams, and that way they can still compete and still be involved and not have to sacrifice too much. We might do that battle royal, and I thought about maybe putting the global championship on the line, but I feel like that might be a bit of a mistake. We might set Nakamura in here. His push is an upper mid card. I don't know about that. We'll at least give him a mid card push. He doesn't have a gimmick either, so we probably might be a good idea to give him a gimmick. Otherwise, he'll debut without a gimmick, and that might be really great. Probably legitimate might be his best bet. So what can we do? Legitimate athlete. I mean, he is a technically legit athlete. Machine. What else can we do? Because we've got to go off here what he's very strong in is. So he's either legitimate or brute. That's his best. So we'll go with brute. See what he's got. Retired boxer, underground fighter, warrior. Yeah, there's really not a lot there. Nothing great that he can really do. So we might have to go legitimate and just go legit fighter. It should work out okay. It should be fine, so we'll go with that. Now, should here's the thing, I want to kind of do a battle royal and put the global title on the line. Would be good to get on the main show, but I mean, it would be a bit of a mistake if Nakamura beats some of our named guys, some of our main guys. So maybe we do the battle royal, but we don't use some of our top guys. Some of the our local talent, we can't really bring anyone in that's any good either. So that's the risky thing that we kind of have here. But it would be good to get them on the show and have some kind of high-flying match. It will probably get a really poor rating, and we understand that, we know that, and that's fine. But it's a bit of a long-term thing. Get them on the show, get them doing something. A Battle Royal Mayhem 10-man match, which is basically like, instead of being thrown to the top rope, they need to get pinned to get eliminated. That would probably suit. I don't know, that's fine. So we might just have some of our lower guys on here and get them involved. Okay, so who can we put? So we got Okada. I mean, we've got some good names in here, really. Tanahashi, Shark Boy, Nakamura, Tyler Black, Sanjay Dutt, Matt Sydal. Yes, we do have him now. Alex Skipper. Put Douglas and Stevens in, and that's it really. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to use Kofi Kingston, so we'll take out Tanahashi and we'll put Kingston in because we don't want to sacrifice them in the end. We do have Marufuji as well. I wouldn't mind using him. I think Alex Skipper is probably a little bit too much to have him lose. If these guys here lose, they're 45 popularity or so. If they lose, it's not ideal, but it shouldn't really affect them too much. And we'll just give them 12 minutes. And at the end, look, at the end of the day, Nakamura gets a big win, and he's going to get pushed. And a lot of these guys, you know, Nakamura should be beating a lot of these guys one day. Perhaps not now, but he's going to be a star. We know that. So it's time to, I suppose, start to lay the foundation. Even if he is in developmental, is less. So how long do we need? Andy Douglas is furious. I mean, we could have a few of these guys do well. You know, Andy Douglas, keep him strong. You know, not an ideal debut for Matt Sydal or Marufuji, but you can do that. And Jay Stevens, I think, is the other one. Everyone else, if they lose, that's fine. Well, he's still angry, but he's just gonna have to deal with it. Yeah, look, guys, I'm sorry, but you just have to deal with it. That's what we're gonna do. And look, it's not ideal. Obviously, it's not a good call to have those guys lose. They're gonna be angry, but he is our global champion. We didn't plan for him to be the global champion, so if he's gonna be the global champion, and I think because he's the first global champ, we don't want him losing the title straight away. I think that would be a waste. I think that would just be kind of silly, just to have him come in, first match in, lose. Yes, we could do that in pre-show so it doesn't waste 20 minutes of the pay-per-view. That's a long time, and it might get bumped to the pre-show. We'll have to wait and see. But I'd just like to get them involved and like to get them on the show in some capacity. Next up, we'll do our women's match. We'll do Gail Kim, Molly Holly, and we'll book that in and give that 15 minutes, and that's for the Impact Knockouts Championship. And Gail Kim can win. Obviously, we want her to have some title defenses up her sleeve. But that's the process. I'll go ahead and I'll book the rest of the show. So I know some of you guys don't particularly like the booking part, and it is a bit boring, but that's some of the matches we're going to do, some of the thinking. The rest of the matches are going to be pretty straightforward, so that was really the main ones that I was kind of playing around with and a few different things. So we'll go ahead, we'll book the show, and we'll get into the results. Alright, so we have booked the entire show. Let's get into what went down. First up on our pre-show, we had Road Dogg and Homicide continuing their rivalry with a pretty good match as well. Now, Road Dogg does need a gimmick change, so I'm not looking forward to this. I feel like it's been too soon. Let's hope it goes okay. Average, we'll take that. So yeah, 78 rated match between Homicide and Road Dogg. Look, I probably could have tried to find a spot for this on the main show, considering how good of a match it was, but we just didn't have the time, really. We had R-Truth versus Austin Aries. They had their first match. You know, they had a couple segments of build-up, not enough to really warrant it being on the main show, but they had something there. A pretty good match, 74. Austin Aries, despite low popularity, had a pretty good performance, and R-Truth was good as well, of course. We had an angle between Jay Lethal and Bobby Roode, basically starting off that rivalry, really. I mean, what we did was we just did Jay Lethal was checking out Tracy Brooks backstage, and Bobby Roode, well, laid him out, I guess. Had Kazarian versus Petey Williams, also on the pre-show. Good match. Kazarian 81. So there you go. He's getting better at his gimmick too. That's good news. So Kazarian's performances have really lifted right from the get-go. I don't know if he had a good start, but he's got low popularity, but having really, really good matches. So that's good news for someone else that I think will have a prominent part of our X Division. Petey Williams, despite having good popularity, I think he's around the 60 mark. His performance is pretty lackluster, and that's a big reason why he's not exactly getting the big push right now. To start off the pay-per-view, we had the triple threat tag match, and of course we had America's Most Wanted win 76 overall match. Rick Steiner 51, Scotty Steiner 82. Can you believe that? Scotty Steiner 82 rated. That's really good for Scott. He was the second best in the match overall. That's very good. So yeah, Rick Steiner was getting tired. No surprise there. I think we kind of expected that. And he's only in for a short period of time. He's not performing well. I think we knew that. We had the Dudleys do a promo on the Steiners. Wow, here you go. Look, this is our little battle royal that we did with a lot of guys that aren't really over at all. Don't have any popularity, but 74. There you go. So what's this? Okada got a lot of static from a vocal crowd who clearly weren't impressed. So the crowd were a bit pissed off at him. We need Douglas and Chase Stevens to change the gimmick. And we had Seidel and Marufuji debut, both pretty successful, above average gimmicks, 74 rate. I can't believe that. Lots of improvements here as well, especially with Nakamura. That's very good news. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, Nakamura's a great worker, but just the popularity wasn't there. But that's good news, so we can kind of use him without being hindered too much. R-Truth, good promo. Gal Kim and Molly Holly, not a bad match, not amazing by all means, but not a bad match for the women, and they're improving. And we had now, instead of having Jeff Jarrett and Sting have a match one-on-one, I felt as though there wasn't enough build-up there between the two to warrant a match yet, and that's something we want to definitely do down the line. But instead, we had them have a parking lot brawl. So, of course, Sting, on the last episode of Impact, got an attack on Jeff Jarrett. This time, they met each other in the parking lot. And also, a bit of a sneaky tactic, if you're ever wondering, and you play this game yourself, a bit of a sneaky tactic to get a lot of guys on the card without them having to have a match. Put him in an angle like this. Put him in a big angle, and then you can get, look, well, we got 6 guys on the card that we wouldn't have, and they were just involved by breaking up the brawl. So, an easy way to do it. Also, very good rated segment, 90, and that's no surprise. So, 2 of our top guys. That's our legendary rivalry right now. We want to save that for a big match for down the line, and it needs some more build. Raven and Sabu versus TNA, 74 rated. Raven, 62 performance. I'm guessing he was hindered again. Sabu was the better out of the lot. Test, again, the lowest. That's not good. But 74, that's fine. Yes, Raven was wasted on drugs. So there you go again. No surprise. We had Christopher Daniels, AJ, and Low Key with the segment. Basically, Jim Cornette, our general manager, basically saying, all right, you 3 tonight in a match. The winner gets a title shot against Samoa Joe. So that's our big match we're gonna have there. And they had a TLC match, 77 rated. So there you go. We went with a high flying match. I thought, you know, that all 3 of them have very good high flying skills, and they had good performances, but just didn't have maybe Samoa Joe missing. Maybe he's the missing piece, but just wasn't as good as we expected. AJ suffered a strained wrist as well. That's not good. Low Key made the botch. So Daniels, yeah. Well, okay, doesn't want a high spot match. Low Key has a new high spot, which is good. So maybe, you know, Daniels, maybe he's the one who kind of fell, I don't know. But that's okay, still a good match. Not amazing, but still good. And what we're going to do is we obviously had Christopher Daniels win that match. The plan now is to have Daniels versus Samoa Joe one-on-one going forward for the X Division Championship. Maybe even have Daniels win. That's an option. and have Samoa Joe move up into the main event. And we can have AJ and Low Ki against each other as well. So that's the plan there. And I think that's a good idea. I think, you know, Fallen Angel, Samoa Joe, we can do that for the X Division. I think AJ and Samoa Joe, let's save it for a bigger occasion down the line. Tag match, we had Abyss and Muhammad Hassan versus Rhino and Jeff Hardy. Now, the reason why we did this instead of singles matches is because we know Muhammad Hassan and Jeff Hardy had a stinker last time. Rhino doesn't have a rivalry right now, so we wanted to get one of our top guys on the show. And of course, Abyss, well, he was meant to have the match against Christian, but we changed plans, so we needed to get Abyss on the card too. So we threw him in a tag match, worked out pretty good, 78 rated match, that's fine. Rhino needs a gimmick change. Rhino and Jeff Hardy have no chemistry at all as tag partners. That is not good. They had, well, 2 pretty bad performances. Muhammad Hassan, 75 performance. His performances are really picking up. Abyss, 79. Jeff and Rhino were no good. Still, managed to have a good match, somehow. Rhino needs a gimmick change, and I'm pretty confident this is not going to go well. We're going to give him an extremist gimmick. And, yeah. Okay, average. It was too soon after his last one, but it was still given average. So that's pretty lucky, to be honest. Normally it's been given awful or poor at least, but to get average, I don't think that's ever happened to me before. I think that's really rare. We had Jeff Hardy, Muhammad Hassan have a bit of a brawl backstage after the match. Again, these two, whenever they do anything that's not a match, it's good. 92. Look, I think we want to have a blow-off match between the two to wrap up the rivalry, but I'm just kind of worried about having them have a one-on-one match, considering that they've had a stinker in recent times, and I don't want to have a big blow-off match and it suck. That would be disappointing. Then we had a video package between Christian and Samoa Joe, hyping that up just a little bit more before we get to the match. And we actually had this match a really long one. I think it was a 35-minute match. We went all out, hoping that this delivers. So fingers crossed it does. Please! 88. Okay, there we go. Really good. That's good. 88. There's short build-up between Christian and Samoa Joe. That's great. 34-minute match it was. Both guys had a performance of 86. Really happy with that. That's pretty excellent. You know, it's not, you know, 90 plus, which would have been fantastic. It's not like, you know, the match that we have with our X Division guys, but it's Christian and Samoa Joe. Considering Samoa Joe's popularity, that's really good. And Christian, he's only in the low 80s, so he hasn't quite got the star power, that mega star power to perhaps produce those huge matches, but that's still fantastic. 88. And afterwards we had Abyss come out with James Mitchell. James Mitchell basically challenging Christian to a match for the championship afterwards, and Abyss ambushed Christian from behind, beating him up. So that's how we close out the pay-per-view with an 88 segment, and we wrap things up there. We had some post-show matches as well, just to throw a few on the show. Jazz and Natty, and Shelly and Billy Gunn. And now obviously when they have a post-show match, it's never really good because they never try. Billy Gunn gimmick change, let's hope this goes well. Average again, that's fine, that will improve. And that's the show. So 86 overall pay-per-view. Very, very good. That's fine. I'm really happy with that. So we'll give some props to Samoa Joe, and we'll give it to Christian as well. Really good stuff. And we might give it to Abyss as well, just to, because he did pretty good as well. So we'll give him that. And there you go. So I'm happy with that. 86 show. That's pretty good. I think that's about the best that we can really produce right now. That's where we're at. We're probably not quite good enough to get into that 90 area consistently, but if we can stay in that high 80s, I'm happy with that. And our star power is going to increase. Our guys are going to get more over, and things are going to get better. So let's jump to some mail. We have some. So some of our contracts for our TV are expiring. That's fine. We can't really do much there. William Regal's contract is up for grabs. That's interesting. Now, we did offer AAA an alliance proposal, but they have rejected it. We wanted to kind of, I guess, be linked up to all the major promotions, but AAA did reject us, so you know they're not interested. That's fine. So WWE have offered William Regal a contract. We might look into William Regal. Let's do it now. Let's see. He's 37, been around for a long, long time. Really good worker, excellent worker, terrific mic skills as well. Really good overall performer. Good popularity too, 74 rated. Now, look, I've never been a major William Regal fan. I know he's really, really good. So he would actually fit really well in our company. But again, the thing is, I kind of want to have TNA guys succeed and utilize them. And but William Regal, he's stuck around in WWE for a long time. He's still there nowadays. He never really left. So, he's not really ever been in TNA, despite how great he would be. It's tempting. It really is. $26,000 a month is what he wants. He's a bit pricey as well. We'd probably have to give him a max deal, and WWE would probably beat us anyways. They always have been beating us on these contract battles. I mean, look, we can give him an offer. I mean, we probably should. I mean, it would be a bit of a waste, but I just don't see myself bringing in William Regal and making him the man. And I feel like he should be a top star. He'll definitely be a main eventer. We'd have to, with that popularity and his ability in the ring. But he's at 37 years old. He's only going to start to decline soon. So is it a smart decision right now? Giving him probably would have to be a 5-year deal to bring him in, and big money. So I don't know. So we'll leave that for now. 0.23 buy rate for Destination X. I don't know if that's better than our best, but it has to be close. So happy with that. And low key, he needs some wins. He's not happy. AJ's injured. That's not good. So, alright, we'll leave that there. Some couple decisions. So Bret Hart, we signed him down to be a developmental trainer, and he has agreed. So that's excellent, isn't it? That's really good. And who knows what he'll do down there. He might end up being a color commentator or something like that as well. So we have Bret Hart. We got Bryan Danielson. We're going to bring him in. Now, to be a heel or a babyface, that's the thing. Then we've got a lot of guys in the mid-card that are heels. So he could probably have a lot more matches with, Eric Young, Bobby Roode. But there's a real influx of lower mid-card guys that are babyfaces. So I might actually bring him in as a heel. We'll see how he goes. We'll check out his stats. We'll see what there is. Michael Shane, we've actually offered him a 9-month deal, and he's accepted. So we do have him to a written deal. So he'll be someone that we probably won't push, but we will use in the mid-card. Raven, of course, up to no good again. We'll find him. He's not happy. Too bad. I don't care. You're really starting to piss me off, Raven. So let's take a look. So AJ Styles is only going to be out for 3 days of the injury. That's fine. That's a relief. We've got our Explosion show, our first one ever, next up. I'm pretty excited to actually book that show, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at Nakamura's development, how his popularity improved. So up to 17. I think he was at 12 before, maybe less, I'm not sure, but that's a bit of a bump up. Some of the other guys we had in there, we had Tyler Black in there, for example. Do we have TJ Perkins? I'm not sure. We may have. Who else we had? We had Kofi in there. So yeah, they increased a fair bit, and just giving him a bit of a national exposure, just giving him a bit of an opportunity. Carter as well, for example, a bit of an opportunity to be seen in a bigger audience. So I think we accomplished that. We got a few of them on the show there. So that's good to get to use some of the developmental guys. Now, obviously, some of our guys, for example, Andy Douglas, won't be very pleased that he lost. Now, here's always my little, trick. If someone's upset, well, sometimes money can fix everything. So he's gone from being angry back to normal. Marufuji, he's not exactly thrilled, so we can fix him out. Billy Gunn, he's upset for some reason. $1,000 wasn't enough for him, but that's fine. Sanjay, he wants a little bit more money. Sometimes you got to hit him around the 5,000 mark, depending on their status in the company. If they're a mid-card guy, they'll want a bit more money. If they're a main guy, they'll want a bit more as well. So Billy Gunn still not happy, so we might have to give him up to around 12 grand. And there we go. So he's happy now. And look, we made plenty of money off the pay-per-view, so that's fine. And this is a way just to kind of shut them up if they're upset about losing. And I don't blame them for being upset about the losing to Nakamura, like a job guy essentially. I don't blame them for that. So we fix them all up there. We make them all happy, and that's fine. Alright, some little stats here. Let's see for any major improvements. Off the bat, not quite sure. The Dudleys, they did lose something. Looks like they lost their popularity again. And Chris Harris, well, wow, he's up to 69. So what's James Storm on? 69 as well. So I guess that kind of defeats our whole argument that we're saying that the Dudleys shouldn't win because they're too far ahead of the rest of the competition. Well, America's Most Wanted are now right up there with them. That's how good that they're kind of going. So we might even have to consider a title change. I think we've kind of messed up it there. Christian, he hasn't quite increased. That's disappointing, but that's okay. Daniel's up to 68, 69. That's good. Let's have a look at who else. Yeah, look, I can't believe James Storm's that high. Jeff Hardy. Yeah, Jeff Hardy's going okay in the mid 70s. That's fine. Low key, he does need some wins. He's dropped down to 64. Wouldn't mind him getting him back near that 70 mark, so we might need to give him a few wins just to boost him up a bit more. Muhammad Hassan nearly up to the 80, so he's meant to be our top heel, and to get him up that far so far, that's pretty positive. That's where he needs to be. Rhino, thank goodness he's still steady. Rick Steiner, I think we should have Rick Steiner probably lose to a few guys, and we can start to do that now. I mean, how long has he got left? We gave him a 6-month contract. We probably should have gave him 3 months maybe, but that's fine. Sabu's still going good. What about Raven? He's still okay. Raven just been so disappointing. Just his drugs is annoying. Samoa Joe, he's definitely bumped up a bit. He's getting a little bit more into that 70 rather than 69, which is really good, and a great match. That will definitely help. Scotty Steiner dipped down a little bit after losing, and that's fine. That's what he's there for. He's there to lose. We've only brought him in for a year. But his work rate was actually really good. So honestly, Scott Steiner, he could be competing against Christian one-on-one for the World Championship and have a good performance, have a good match. So I think we probably should treat Scotty a little bit better and give him a bit more of an opportunity, not just a tag team guy. So if we move him along from this Dudley Boys feud and maybe jump him into the world title picture for a little bit of time, that might not be a bad idea, and have Christian beat Scott Steiner and just to continue Christian's rise straight to the top. Sting's still fine. What about Jeff Jarrett? Didn't change. No, that's good. Test up to 67. That's fine as well, so that's pretty good. And A-Train, the other one, up to 70, so that's really good. So that's our changes, and that's pretty good changes. That's promising. I'm happy with that. So our buy rate, which is probably a little bit less than last month in terms of money, so that's okay though. We should be on track to gain a profit off this month, hopefully. We've already paid 419 grand in terms of our workers, so we can probably expect another 200,000-300,000 to be slapped onto that, and hopefully we just increase our ticket sales. So we should be getting a positive month overall, and that's very, very good news, and that's very, very positive. We're doing well. We'll skip another day, but yeah, that's a good pay-per-view. That's a good result overall. Destination X. Yeah, we had to change plans. Now we can move forward on the Christian and Abyss match. Daniels versus Samoa Joe. Styles versus Low Key. That's going to be really good. So I think we might be time to maybe have a match on Impact between Hassan and Jeff Hardy, and then move those two along. Perhaps Rhino comes up against Hassan. Jeff Hardy. You know, I'm not sure where Jeff Hardy could go, but we'll find someone for him. But a few other little things, yeah, just a couple of guys relocating, that's fine. So now, I mean, do we want to give an offer to William Regal? I think we probably should. We'll give him we'll give him an offer. We'll see how he goes, just to make WWE earn it, I guess. Give him a 3-year deal. Wow, Dixie won't even let me do anything. She's not letting me do nothing, and like only 1,000 more than the WWE. So I think our chances of getting it are pretty slim as it is. As you know, we need a bit more leeway than that. At least 30 grand would probably be the best per month. But yeah, so just a quick look at Raw. What's this? WWE Lost in Space? Was that their pay-per-view? WWE Lost in Space. That's nearly, if not worse, than the Great Balls of Fire, and they drew 46,000 people. WWE Lost in Space. What the hell is that? Mysterio and Edge was the main event. I mean, that's a good main event, but a terrible name. and their Raw, they had it at the same time as Raw by the looks of it, so they had a big stadium, so that's a long show. So they had a really good Raw 88, so we'll keep that in mind for next time when we try and book our Impact next up. But yeah, so we'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us for this episode of TW16. Very successful pay-per-view, very happy. Things are going well. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see the next episodes coming away soon, man. Remember to leave a like on it as well, and I will see you in the next episode.